What is up, everyone? Waiting for some people to join in. Back on schedule for our Tuesday live streams, day after Christmas. We will wait for people to come on in. Not sure how many are going to be here. If people are in a food coma, people still have family in town. I may just be talking to myself for a little bit. I don't know. We'll see, because I didn't give you guys a whole big of a heads up for this live stream, but we will just wait for some people to come in and we will see what is up. But we got Urbex Overland, All Terrain Nation. What is up, guys? How's it going? Hope everyone had a good Christmas. How was your guys' Christmas? If you all celebrate Christmas or whatever other holiday you guys celebrated in the last week or so, hope it was all good. People starting to roll in. Mike, Joanna, Jeff, what is up, everyone? Nate from Chicagoland. Mike, how is everyone doing? What is up? What is up? Hope everyone had a great holiday week and that you guys didn't eat too much food, man. It was great. Me and my wife, we have a tradition to go to Waffle House on Christmas time. During Christmas, it's our Christmas breakfast. The reason we did that, the second Christmas we were here in Florida, we were actually moving into a new house pretty much. And we didn't realize, like, in the South that grocery stores and everything were like all closed. So we didn't have anything in the house. And we're like, holy crap, what are we going to do for breakfast or eat or whatever? And Waffle House was open. So that is our Christmas tradition. So I went to Waffle House, had a waffle with peanut butter and pecans on it. That is not carnivore if you guys missed the last live stream. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, I am doing the carnivore diet pretty heavily. I'm actually going to start the lion diet on January 1st, which is like the next step past carnivore. It's just absolutely insane. So we'll see how I do on that. So had a waffle with peanut butter and pecans and a Texas toast little patty melt, and it was good. But I am feeling the sweets and everything from the last couple days. Once you like really start to fine tune your body and like help your gut feel better and stuff, like when you cheat, it hurts, man. It really, really hurts. But what is up, everyone? How is it going, everyone? Steven jumping in. Noah is up in here. Sammy, hope everyone had a great Christmas time. So if you guys are new to the live streams, don't be nervous to send a little question or anything like that in the comment section. Typically, we have questions that pop up, and then I just put them here on the screen like this. Oops, missed that. I put them here on the screen like this so you guys can see the questions, and we BS and talk about it for anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute sometimes, just depending on how many questions that we have going on. Sometimes we get like 10 to 15 minutes behind. But you know, whatever questions you guys have, whether it's Toyota stuff, life stuff, food stuff, I don't even care. The live streams are my way to like connect with the audience, get some ideas for future videos, talk Toyota stuff. If you guys want to hear about Toyota stuff, future things for the channel, or just anything really, it's just it's pretty fun. I enjoy the live streams. But All Terrain Nation, Dave over there says, John, we need to get you on a mid-size truck show soon with Tim. So if you guys don't know, Pickup Truck and Plus SUV Talk, Tim Esterdahl and Dave over here at All Terrain Nation, they also do a live stream. I try not to impose on their live streams. I typically do mine on Tuesday. That seems to be working here with my audience. So yeah, dude, if you guys want me on, just send me a DM on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever, and I'll join the next one. It don't matter to me. Tim has been posting a lot of stuff. He is really breaking down prices, it seems like, of all these mid-sized trucks and everything. So I would love to get on that. Just shoot me a message, dude, and we could have all three of us up on there. It would be awesome. Steven says, can't wait to get a GX 550 as a present. That would be an amazing present. Urbex Overland said, had a great Christmas as well. That is awesome. That is awesome. From Nova Scotia, holy smokes. Merry Christmas as well. That's awesome. You guys are all awesome. A big fan of you supporting, man. How's it going, everyone? Anthony, Mr. Sheep, everyone up in here. So this is awesome. So again, not sure how many people are going to join us tonight, but if you guys have any questions about anything, go ahead, put them in the comment section. If we start to get a lot of questions and stuff, the live stream will go its typical hour to hour and a half. If not, then we'll just cut it early. It's all good. I know people have family in town and everything, and if you want to hang out with family, I don't really show stuff here on the screen, so if you want to put like a little headphone in and just listen along, you totally can. It's just, you know, us conversing like this. So Jeff says, excited to see the new tacos 2024 looking cool. Dude, I am very jealous right now of, obviously, their bigger media sources, right? Like TFL, Car and Driver, Road and Track, not Road and Track, but Car and Driver. Who's the other big one? Motor Trend on Instagram, and they have, you know, tons of different operations to their business and stuff. But they literally got pre-production trucks, like and like in their establishment, which is so cool. Like I think it's either Motor Trend or Car and Driver. I can't remember which one. Based in California, I think that's Car and Driver then, or Motor. I don't remember. But anyways, they have a solar octane TRD off-road that they had for like a week or 2 weeks or something like that. TFL, they seem to have a limited Tacoma right now, and they're doing a drag race already with it and all this stuff. I haven't watched their video yet, but so jealous, man. Like that they're already showing long-term content, and even some of the dudes up in Canada, because they weren't able to come to the event that we had in California. But a lot of those dudes up there, again, bigger operations, I get it. They were able to like have the truck in their driveway for a week. How freaking cool is that? So that is a goal, to get to that point on the channel when Toyota's like, yo, we need John to have a truck for a week to really show content. So that's awesome. But yeah, can't wait to share more Tacoma content with you guys. As you can see, this Tacoma is losing parts bit by bit. We have the roof rack off, the bed rack is off, the deck system is out, and everything is like hanging out over there. I sold the TRD wheels for this because we put the RRWs on, and I think I hope the audio and stuff doesn't go to crap when I do this. So the RRW wheels that are on this Tacoma with the bigger Nitto tires, I was just gonna leave on it when I sold it or traded it in, but I really want to have multiple sets of wheels ready for this new Tacoma when it comes in, to do quick fitment stuff for you guys. I have hopefully a viral video idea, and I don't want to give too much away because like I don't want other people to do it like right away. So the secret to YouTube is like you want to help others out and stuff, because some competition is good, right? Like I don't care if other people get the Tacoma right away, like when I get it as well, because all those videos will feed my videos will help feed their videos. I don't care about that. That is awesome. That's what I love. That's good, healthy competition. But there are some ideas that you don't want to express too much, because then those companies with those big pockets, they're like, oh, John's going to do that. We're going to do that first. So I want to keep these wheels. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to keep these wheels and tires to do fitment stuff and everything on that. So I won't tell too much. But this Tacoma, we are getting it stripped bit by bit by bit. I've been doing some fire sales and stuff on Facebook Marketplace in my local area. Like I just sold the ditch lights today with the brackets from Cali Rays with the harness and everything for $75. Like that is a crazy steal for that. I have a gentleman hopefully tomorrow picking up the roof rack for like over half off, right? I'm like, yo, took it off the truck, trading the truck in, want to hook someone up, get it for half off. And they're like, boom, 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 lighten up Facebook Marketplace. But all that being said, knock on wood, 4th gen Tacoma for my channel has not been pushed. Granted, it has been a holiday season, so not a lot of people have been in the office probably at the Toyota dealership, but I have not heard any negative plans moving forward for the 2024 Tacoma. So very excited for that. And if I do trade this in, which it's looking like I'll be trading this Tacoma in for that one, I have a couple video ideas as well. Benji says, Merry Christmas from Niceville. How's it going? You're only just right across the water, man. Hope your Christmas was great, Benji. Chris says, you have covered all big Toyotas. Do you have any plans for smaller ones like RAV4 mods? So when we had our RAV4, I did a couple mods with it, not a whole lot. But strangely, those videos now, that's what I love about YouTube, is that it's evergreen content, right? Those videos now are starting to get views. Another video that's actually starting to pick up is why I sold the Sequoia within 6 months. Like within the last 10 days, it's gotten almost over 100,000 views, which is crazy. Perfect for December timeframe because ad revenue is very high in December. But I don't like just shove videos down your guys' throats. Actually, I honestly took off the last like 5 days from making videos, just like chill with family in town. As you guys know, in the last live stream, my mother-in-law was in town. She brought all the beef and stuff. I was like, you know what? Everyone just wants a break at the holiday season. Maybe some content would have been good here and there, but I was like, let's just give it a rest. But when we move down to Tampa area, I will be covering a lot of cars, a lot of different Toyota vehicles and stuff on the Lexus side and also the Toyota side, like RAV4s, like the Camry, like the Highlander, Grand Highlander, probably the Corolla Cross Hybrid, right? Like, so there'll be a bunch of cars on the channel for review purposes, not really mod purposes, just because I can't mod Toyota's vehicle, but I can show those cars in detail as well for you guys, which will be pretty cool. And I plan to get, whenever I get a press vehicle like that, I'll plan for a minimum of like 2 long form videos, one like a general review and most likely like driving impressions of the vehicle. And then I really like doing 5 likes and 5 dislikes after like a week of having a vehicle. So those will be like my 2 main long form videos for a car that I will strive to do. And then like 10 short form content pieces with the car. TikTok, like I don't really like TikTok that much, but TikTok is very, very good, honestly, for over 1 minute videos, like just a very quick car review. I reach a ton of people on TikTok, and my TikTok is like really all just Toyota reviews and Lexus reviews versus the YouTube, which is kind of more trucks and stuff, and then Instagram, which is like more mods. So between the 3 platforms, it kind of stinks because each platform has its own vibe, but it's cool because I can diversify over 3 platforms for things and, you know, and just show it off. But those are my plans for the RAV4, Chris, is most likely it'll just be review content unless we buy another RAV4, but I don't see us buying a RAV4 anytime soon again. We had the XSE, it was great. Should have never sold it or traded it in. I do regret getting rid of that vehicle, but I don't think that we would buy another RAV4 until maybe like a refresh, depending on what they do with it and if we need like a quick little zip car or something. But the RAV4 is great, and there's a ton of mods for it, whether if you want to go like a street build with it or even an overland build. Like I saw a RAV4 with the C4 bumper on it, like a full armor bumper and rear bumper and all this stuff on Instagram the other day. I was like, holy smokes, that's a RAV4? Insane. Brandon says, Merry Christmas. Bought a 24 Tundra with the TRD off-road package for $4,000 under MSRP last week. Nice, dude. Congrats. I wanted a Tacoma initially, but thought it would be too small for 2 kids. Great call, dude. Very good call. The Tacoma is going to be a nice vehicle for sure. Better than the Tundra in my opinion for certain things, but it will never beat the Tundra in size. Like if you have a family, there's no reason to really get a Tacoma. The Tacoma is good and small and nimble for like off-road stuff, maybe like you and a spouse or you and like 1 kid or maybe 2 kids potentially like in the back, depending on how old they are. But it's a mid-sized truck at the end of the day. It does not, all these people, it's not frustrating, but it's kind of frustrating. But like all these people are like, I wish it had tons of room. I have a family of 5. Like, bro, it's a mid-sized truck. Like, it doesn't make sense. So that makes sense, man. Good job getting it under MSRP. The deals are 100% out there for the Tundras right now. There's so many dealerships that just have them stacked on the lots. It's honestly nice to see. It does suck, you know, for resale value of like my Tundra, right? Like it's definitely gone down a lot compared to my SR5 Tundra that I put 15,000 miles on and maybe lost a couple $1,000s on it in the year that I had it. I know that this Tundra Platinum, if I was to sell it tomorrow, I would probably, I would probably be close to breaking even on it, if not maybe, lose a couple thousand on it just because of where the market is at right now. And the only reason I would break even, I feel, is just if someone wanted to pay for the lift and the tires, but I doubt it. So I probably would end up losing money. But that's awesome that you got it under MSRP. The deals are definitely out there. That is great to hear. Anthony says, "Hey John, do you remember the first Tacoma that was really small that had wheel covers? What gen of Tacoma was that?" If I had to think about that, I would say it would probably be the first gen, because the second gen and this gen actually have the same cab, different like interior, but they have the same cab size. So if you were to go off of that knowledge, I would say it most likely would be the first gen Tacoma, or even like the Toyota T100 pickup. Like that was the kind of first Tundra, and then you had the Toyota pickup, and then the Toyota Tacoma. So the Toyota pickup went until like 1995, I think, and then the Tacoma started, I want to say, in 96 or 97, and went up to like 2002 or 2003, and then like the second gen Tacoma came out with this cabin right here. So as everyone comes in, what is up? How's it going, everyone? Merry Christmas, just in case you just popped in. Hope you had a great holiday, whichever one you celebrate. You had good time with family, some good food and stuff. Everyone, appreciate your support on this Tuesday, the day after Christmas. I think today's Hanukkah, I think. So whatever you celebrate, if you don't celebrate at all, whatever, it's all good. It's almost the new year too. Everyone has to celebrate that, right? Because it is a new year in just a couple days. Dave says 100% sweet. So I'll be on your guys' live stream. Not sure if you're still in here, but that would be cool. I'll definitely join up your guys' live stream. If we could do it, like, if you're still in here, Dave, I'm not sure if you are. If we could do it between all three channels, that would be cool. That way, if none of my audience has seen you guys, we could, which they should, because it's all intertwined, but we should be able to push the live stream between all three channels, which would actually be pretty cool. Greg says, shh, don't say too much. If you guys are just joining in, I was talking discreetly really fast about some of the plans that I have for the new 2024 Tacoma. Some competition stuff is good, but at the same time, you want to keep some secrets to be the first on YouTube for some things. Michael says, "Hey John, have you considered the Baja Designs light bar instead of the Cali Rays light bar? Also, do you think that next gen 4Runner will remain body on frame?" I do think that the next gen 4Runner will remain body on frame. It'll be the same frame style, the TNGAF, most likely that the Land Cruiser's on, the GX, Tacoma, Tundra, Sequoia, just, a little bit more narrow with the cross members and stuff for a 4Runner platform. I was talking with an individual, I won't disclose the name, but like there were rumors in the past like that the 4Runner would be like a unibody, but that got axed very, very quick, just because it's like, dude, if you do a 4Runner unibody, like you kill that vehicle. Like there's no point to do that at that point. So but Baja Designs, I actually have their new squadrons over there that I plan to put on the Tundra. I just want to change out the red lights or the red screws. I want to powder coat them or get them like a different color just to match like the theme of the Tundra that I have going on, because they're super clean. They're very nice looking lights, especially for the Platinum. So, but yeah, Baja Designs or Diode Dynamics, dude, I'm down to try any company. That's why I don't really like locking myself into a contract with any companies, just because I want to try everything, because you may not like the performance or the way a certain light bar looks from a certain company, or one light bar may have a different feature that you like. Variety of price ranges. That's why I liked to show Cali Rays, because they do drop ship their light bars, from overseas. So they are a bit cheaper than some of the other ones like Baja Designs or Diode Dynamics or Rigid or stuff like that, right? The performance is great on them. It's really, really good for a fraction of the cost. But you got to think too, like condensation, will it get up in there? Some of the hardware may rust too, right? And that's like just their light bars and stuff. All their products that I had on this Tacoma super solid, like very solid for the products that they make here in the USA. But some of the stuff, you know, with their lighting, it may be a little bit cheaper. It'll still perform really good. So that's why I like to do a variety of different products and stuff, just to give you guys options, you know. And at the end of the day, like, that's all people do on YouTube, is they research people's opinions. Ultimately, they make their own decision on what they like. And I just like to give you guys options for that. Jose says, I already put a deposit on a TRD Sport. Heck yeah, dude. What color? Let us know down in the comments. Dave says, will I see you in Chicago again this year? Potentially. I'm not sure if Toyota's doing any reveals or anything like that at the Chicago Auto Show, but if they are and I get invited to that, then I will definitely do that. I'm not sure if I would make my own trip up there. I mean, that auto show actually was pretty big. The LA Auto Show, I was kind of disappointed at, honestly. I don't think that the LA Auto Show was kind of worth the hype. Like, there wasn't that many brands there. The Chicago Auto Show actually had a lot more people there. So I may just make my way up there regardless if there's a Toyota reveal or not, just because there's a lot of manufacturers up there. Like, there was actually a lot. Daniel says, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, man. Abdul says, hello. Why did you decide to get a double cab with a 5-foot bed instead of a 6-foot bed? So the reason I did that, so I've had 2 Tacomas now, both 3rd gens, this one being a 5-foot bed, and that blue one that I had here on the channel, not sure when you joined, that one had a 6-foot bed. And currently, not sure how long I'll have it with this whole move of us going down to Tampa. I plan to have the Tundra for a little bit, but currently I have a Tundra with a 6.5-foot bed. So if I need a truck for truck things, I use the Tundra. Not really a need for me to have a Tacoma with a longer bed. I don't know. I think that the Tacoma looks a little bit more proportionate with a shorter bed personally. So that's another reason why I didn't go with the long bed. So I don't need it because my Tundra has a 6.5-foot bed, which is more than enough for the stuff that we do. And I just think that the 5-foot bed personally looks better. It looks way better on this 4th gen truck than the last generation did, for the longer bed. But yeah, that's why. Yep, and it is called the T100. Okay, cool. Greg says, how do you feel about the new powertrains compared to the 4.0? Since most likely will be in the 4Runner too. Okay, the new powertrains in the 4Runner, yes. I think my only issue would be longevity, as I keep my vehicles for a long time. So super solid question, and this is gonna come up forever, right? Until we're 10 years down the road or whenever, and then the next generation comes out, right? And we'll see how long or how well these powertrains prove themselves. But strictly driving aspect, like if I'm just driving the vehicle, I don't care about potential longevity. I don't care about this thumb thing all the time. I don't care about longevity. I don't care about what's going on. I don't care about turbochargers, and I just care about how the vehicle drives. This new powertrain, in the short time that I had it in California with the Tacoma, okay, I do want to drive the hybrids and stuff and own one for a little bit as well before I really make the decision. But it's better. It's better because there's more speeds in the transmission, the lower end torque, it gets the truck up and going faster than like this truck with the 3.4. I know it was about the 4.0. But my 4Runner has the 4.0 in it, and I've been driving that a bit lately. Honestly, it's been nice and enjoyable to just go back to analog, really. And the 4Runner is good, but my God, is it lacking power, man. And my 4Runner doesn't have much weight on it. I put 285 70/17 tires on it, so a little bit bigger tires, very close to a 33. A little bit of a lift on it with the Westcott Designs pre-collar kit. And aside from that, well, it does have a Cali Rays like stealth front bumper, like a low front bumper, and like some rock rails and stuff. So like there's not a whole lot of weight on my 4Runner, but it's a dog. Like it does not get up and go. So I do have the Shift Power USA throttle enhancer on it, which that does help quite a bit. But if we're going strict driving purposes, the new powertrain on these newer vehicles is great. When it comes to like horsepower and torque for heavy vehicles, the more torque you have and the quicker it comes on is better to move such a heavy vehicle. So the fact that the hybrids are going to have 465 foot-pounds of torque, which is like almost 200 foot-pounds more than what the 4Runner has and the 4.0 from the Tacoma, that's insane. Like that will in itself just make the vehicles feel like a rocket ship. Now, MPG, not crazy impressive, right? And when we put weight on these vehicles, when people start putting bigger tires and bed components and stuff in the bed to make it, whether it be an overland build or an off-road build, and armor and all that stuff underneath, that's when the true test of the engine will really come out, right? But if it's anything like the Tundra, I think that it's going to be okay because like people have been throwing weight on the Tundra. People have been throwing bigger tires on the Tundras, not re-gearing or anything, and their trucks are solid. Like the only thing that goes down is the gas mileage, but they don't feel like the truck is underpowered. Now, longevity-wise, to continue on with your question, that's going to be hard, man. It is turbocharged, so I mean the turbos are going to fail eventually, right? But if you get 2, 3, 400,000 miles out of the truck, I feel like that's going to be okay if you have to change a turbocharger at that point. And hopefully at that time, the vehicle is more than paid off. So that's what a lot of people aren't kind of understanding is like if you really plan on owning a vehicle that long, it's going to eventually be paid off, right? So if you have a 5-year note or a 6-year note on the vehicle, let's say it's $500, $600, $700 a month, right? Depending on the vehicle that you want, you're in warranty pretty much that whole time. You know, depending on how much you drive the vehicle, and if you want to buy an extended warranty, you can, but you're pretty much in warranty that whole time. After those 5 to 6 years, and now you're out of warranty, you don't have a car payment anymore. So if you're really worried about it, you could put some money in the bank, right, for a rainy day fund. And let's say that a new turbocharger with just BS numbers, let's say that a new turbocharger with labor is $2,000 or $3,000. Well, that's 6 months worth. It sucks to pay it, right? And it goes bad, but that's only 6 months worth of a $500 car payment. But you didn't have a car payment for, let's say, 4 years, 5 years, right? So that's all money in the bank that you're saving on a vehicle. These are all just random things, right? There's tons of stuff that can happen. You could get a lemon, or you could get a truck that goes forever, right? 600,000-700,000 miles before a turbo goes out or something like that. Or it may not even be a turbo. It may just be something else in the vehicle. So that's my thought process on it is if stuff does go out on these trucks, like hopefully you're putting money away because the truck has been paid off. That's personally how I feel with it. And then same if you're buying them used down the road, right? Like you're saving hopefully 15 to 20 grand off the price, and that money can be used towards a rainy day fund if something inevitably goes wrong with the truck. But driving wise, so much better. It actually has power, which is nice. Okay, Hanukkah was from the 7th to the 15th. Got it. Today is Boxing Day in the UK and Canada. I've never even heard of that before. I don't even know what that is, Nikki, but that's awesome if you guys celebrate that. To me, like in America, it sounds like a sport event or something like that for like fighting. Dave says, I'll hit you up on Facebook. Keep spreading the good word of Toyota. Will do, man. I appreciate you stopping in and saying what's up. Michael says, you probably never had to do this since you live in Florida, but if you ever coated the frame for rust protection, if so, what company did you use? So personally, I haven't, but I have had some friends that have purchased the vehicle from up north, and then they undercoated the vehicle, but I don't know what with. Maybe someone that is up from the north can answer this question for you, Michael. But a lot of people, you know, I know that they've done undercoatings on vehicles before, but like you said, since I'm in Florida, I really haven't encountered an issue of a vehicle rusting. There is some surface rust, like on my tow hitch of the 4Runner, just because you put a hitch in and out and stuff of the 4Runner. Even my brand new Tundra has like a little rust spot in the tow hitch and stuff from, you know, metal on metal contact just in there. And then I live like literally the beach is right there. So it's just salt always in the air. And the fact that the truck sits outside is horrible, man. I really wish all my vehicles could be in the garage. But like, I haven't really encountered anything on my last Tundra that's been a truck in the South. Like just did some Rust-Oleum stuff, and I just like scratched off where the rust kind of was, and then put a primer for rust prevention, and then just did some rust free paint over it, and just spray painted the frame itself for my own. But as for an actual rust protection, you would have to get with someone up north near you, man. Maybe join, if you are up north, maybe join like some car pages or whatever, or like a cars and coffee page, and be like, yo, how do you guys protect your car up here from the salt and all that stuff? That would probably be your best bet. Then when you get your answer with that too, they could hopefully hook you up with like a reputable shop in your area that would do that as well. Jose says the underground color for his TRD Sport, I hope to get it at the end of January. Dude, that's going to look so good with some black accents on it. I know that the hood is non-functional on the TRD Sports, but I think that they look really, really good. Yeah, Steven says this new gesture stuff on the Mac is terrible. Easy to turn off, though, on the camera icon on the menu bar. Camera icon. Oh, my God. It is not that easy. Wow. Thanks, dude. Thanks, Steven. I appreciate that. Now it's off. So when I do this and stuff, it doesn't do that again. I appreciate it. Nikki says the Land Cruiser sold out in 10 minutes, apparently. Yeah, so overseas in Germany, I think it was. Basically, I'm not sure how they do it there, but I mean, here technically it's sold out as well, right? Like if the dealerships accept deposits and then they get allocations for it, it's technically already sold out here, right? If there's 2,000 to 3,000, however many we get here right away, right, it may already be sold out based on the people that want the vehicle right now and that have deposits placed. So there may not be any Land Cruisers even here that are like quote unquote available. Like they'll be available, but it may be sold out for a little bit as well. But yeah, that's crazy. They weren't allocated that much, and they went very, very fast. Marty Vision, what up, dude? Hope you're still in here. That comment was only from 8 minutes ago, so we aren't too far behind. But what is up? Truck bed liner works great on a frame too. So going back to the undercoating question, you could use some truck bed liner, which is a good options. 2024 GMC Canyon AT4 thoughts. Never been beat the resale. Oh yeah, never gonna beat the resale of a Toyota though. So the Canyon's sick, dude. I really like the Colorado and the Canyon. Obviously, like you just said it, the resale, right, of those trucks is that's gonna be the biggest thing. But dude, like the Canyon AT4 or like a Chevy Colorado ZR2, they are very cool trucks. And I do like that 2.7 in them. I haven't driven the truck with it, but I do like that it's a bigger displacement 4-cylinder. It just feels more trucky than like the 2.4 in the Tacoma, just on a numbers like realm of just how big that engine is. And like that same engine is in their heavier duty or their bigger Silverado. So like, it's just nice to know that that engine can be in a bigger truck, and then they moved it down to a smaller truck. So it kind of plays with your head, but it's very cool, man. Like I've never contemplated a Canyon for myself, but I've said this multiple times on the channel. I really heavily thought about getting a GMC Sierra AT4 with the 3.0 Duramax diesel in that. So I've been on the thought process of an AT4. It's just cool. I like the AT4. I really like the GMCs, just the way their interiors are a little bit more than Chevy and their exteriors and stuff. So I think it'd be cool. I mean, I think like that type of content has a place because a lot of people that like know you for having like some kind of Toyota vehicles on the channel, right? Like with the Lexus and stuff and other like Toyotas like talk about them and whatnot. There are a lot of people like now with this new midsize truck game being rejuvenated with like the Ranger, brand new GMC Canyon and Colorado from Chevy, and now a brand new Tacoma as well. Like it's a hot market, so people are going to be cross shopping them, and if it's a vehicle on the channel, man, like you never know, it could do really well. Michael says, when you do the Westcott lift kit, do you need to adjust the headlight slash sensor to point them more downwards? Also, have you had any problems with it, and what shop did you get it installed at? So personally, I got it installed at Yoda Mafia in my area. They're up in Holt, Florida, up there. So, Michael, were you the one in Niceville when I said what's up? I can't remember. But anyways, in Holt, Florida, is where Yoda Mafia is at, and Ryan was able to install them on the Tundra and the 4Runner. Personally, for the 4Runner, I never adjusted my lights, and they were always kind of like a little bit down from Alpha Rex, and now they're pretty level. I haven't gotten flashed yet with the 4Runner. On the Tundra, the cool thing with that was with the Westcott kit that I put on the white Tundra that I had, it had the manual lights on it. So all I did was just with the button was just rotate them down and rotate them up, and then the lights just automatically just did that on their own. So I just self-leveled that Tundra, which was really nice. This new Tundra, I don't have a Westcott kit on it. I have the Dobinson's kit, and that has the auto leveling headlights. So the truck already knew that it was lifted up. It's like, hey, I want the lights to be there with the camera, and it just did it on its own. So, but now that I have the Alpha X lights in it, they're a little too low. I still need to raise up the driver's side. I just haven't found the perfect wall and like the time to just care to do it. But the kit itself was very good. It's good on the 4Runner. My shocks on the 4Runner are just bad in the first place. Like they're almost at 30 or almost at 40,000 miles, which I know isn't a lot, but the truck is like 7 years old now. So like the shocks are getting a little old and a little tired. So like I'm not gonna say the Westcott kit rides horrible on my 4Runner. It's just like the shocks are just old. It feels no different than like before I put the lift kit on. And then on the Tundra that I had, I did like everything at once. So like the bigger, well, no, I did put 35s on, and then I went back up to do the Westcott kit. But like I just put heavy E-load rated tires on, and then the lift kit. So like it got rougher, but it didn't feel uncomfortable. So the only thing I can recommend with the Westcott kit is just make sure that you get it properly aligned. Just don't lift your truck with the Westcott kit and like just go to the Toyota dealership and just try to have them put it back in the specs. Like go to a good off-road alignment shop and make sure like when you buy the kit from Westcott Design, say, hey, can you send me the specs for a proper lift kit when I get this aligned, and just have the alignment shop do it to a T. Even though things are gonna show red, be like, no, this is what the Westcott Designs kit is supposed to be aligned at. And then you should do that, and it should be good. Fluid film, but do it yearly. So I guess this is for the undercoating. Jim says, my thought on the turbo is definitely to get an extended warranty, especially if you off-road. 100%. And you can get extended warranties for relatively cheap, like compared to what the work is going to be, right? Like I've seen an extra 6 years for like $2,500. So, you know, they're banking on you not needing it, right? So then that's how they make their money. But definitely, and you could shop around for extended warranties too from multiple dealerships. It doesn't just need to be from the dealership that you purchase the truck at, but just make sure that it's going to be usable like throughout the United States. Make sure it covers everything exactly that you want it to be. Wood Duck says, even though I have not yet test driven the new Tacoma because there is none in my area in Tennessee yet, I'm betting there's not going to be no need for a pedal commander. So I don't think there is. Personally, there's more dead pedal in this truck and the 4Runner than there is like my Tundra, right? And the dead pedal in the Tundra is kind of more of a minimal turbo lag, but the new Tacoma felt more peppy than my Tundra. Again, it comes down to torque, right? Torque on the Tundra, oh my gosh, Ryan said it in our last live stream. I think the torque on the Tundra comes on at like 2,200 RPM, like peak torque. Whereas on the Tacoma, it comes on at 1,700 RPM. So like the truck is getting ready to go and you have that torque like right away. So I think that a pedal commander system for those trucks may not be super necessary, but potentially when we start weighing them down with like off-road goodies and stuff, it may be a little bit more necessary, but we'll see. Sammy, what's up? Sammy says, John, would you think, John, what, oh my gosh, what you think would be good. Okay, bro. Proofread. Okay, hold on. I'm not gonna stutter around this. 5th gen 4Runner or turbo Land Cruiser. 4Runner for around 49 out the door versus Land Cruiser around 65 to 70 with dealer markups. Well, good deal for the money is definitely not paying a dealer markup. Like that alone just ruins a deal for me, if possible, right? Like if you really want the vehicle and you want it now and you have the funds to pay a dealer markup, I'm not stopping you from paying a dealer markup. I think that the better deal obviously is going to be a 4Runner because it's going to hold its value. It's proven, especially if the new ones come out and they're a little too techy and stuff. The 4Runners are going to hold their value for a while over time. But if this new Land Cruiser is anything like the old Land Cruiser, it will also really hold its value and in some cases go up in value as well. I don't see that happening out the gates with the new Land Cruiser just because it's not like that pinnacle of a 200 series from Toyota, right? This is more of like the Prado that we're getting here in the United States, even though Toyota just calls it Land Cruiser here in the United States. It's more of like the budget version Land Cruiser, even though, you know, the pricing, like you said, it's going to be close to 65, 70 for like that top end Land Cruiser. But out of the gate, like, I don't know. Both to me, you can't go wrong with. Both are built in Japan. I just definitely wouldn't pay over MSRP because now you're like guaranteed to lose money on that vehicle over time, unless, you know, it's super hard to get and people are even paying used, like the Sequoias at the time, like when I sold mine. Like even though it was used, people are still, like dealers are still paying over MSRP. It just depends on the market. Depends if rates go down and stuff too. Because when that Land Cruiser comes out, I mean, we're talking another 3 months or so, right? Because they said around spring time frame. But yeah, try not to pay markups if you can. When will we be able to buy a 24 Tacoma from the dealer? They're going to be arriving in January, CX. So around January timeframe is when these trucks are going to start rolling out. If you want, you can join the No Markup Toyota Facebook page. I've mentioned them a lot because their page, like they're really starting to post a lot of Tacomas on there, which is nice because there's going to be a good volume of them. I can already tell. Like, so when dealerships are posting on that No Markup Toyota page, it means like trucks aren't spoken for and they're having to reach out to Facebook to say, hey guys, we have a truck coming in. So they're definitely going to be making a lot of Tacomas. Lenny says, on the 2023, is there anything that you have to get the charger pad to work? I'm assuming you're talking about the Tundra. It's not the best if you're talking about the wireless charger on the Tundra. Depends on your phone and your phone case too. Like you see this camera on this phone, it's really hard because it doesn't stay flush on that. Any bumps, it moves it off. And really the charger itself is just so underpowered. So like all it does is just maintain a charge, especially if you're doing CarPlay or Android Auto. Like that stuff really makes the phones run hot in the first place. Like I don't know if you guys have noticed, but if you do CarPlay, like at least for me, and if I don't plug my phone in or like have it on the wireless charger, I lose battery percentage fast. Like the phone is working a lot, it seems like, to do CarPlay. So really like a wireless charger on the Tundra, it really just only helps maintain a charge. It does not charge it up. I would just plug it in. I still have a freaking lightning cable in my glove or in my center console, and I just sometimes just plug my phone in because the wireless charger is not the best in the Tundra, especially too like just trying to stay on it to stay a charge. Astro Green says, hey all, I just got on and saw that we're doing a live. I gotta ask, aren't gonna get. I'm not sure what you mean by this. If you're still in here, bro, ask again. I'm not sure what you mean by that last sentence. Daniel says, I was about to commit to the Tacoma with a 6-speed, but now that the 6th generation 4Runner is confirmed. Where was it confirmed? I need to see that to make a video. Where was it confirmed? And they may have a 6-speed option. I may decide to wait it out. Two kids and a dog make the 4Runner a better fit. 100% agree. And if those rumors are true, right, that the 6th gen 4Runner will kind of have the same powertrain options as the Tacoma, that's gonna be wild. Like I've said in videos in the past when people are like, if they bring a manual back to the 4Runner, I'm gonna buy it. And I was like, dude, why would they bring a manual back to the 4Runner when they got rid of it in the 3rd generation, right? Like the 3rd generation was the last gen to have a manual transmission in a 4Runner. So we've had all of the 4th gen and all of the 5th gen. Like you're talking almost 20 years, over 20 years of a 4Runner without a manual transmission. And now it may just come back. And the reason for that is because with the Land Cruiser now being not like a Sequoia, right? And just an obscene amount of money for like just, I don't know. I'd never thought the Land Cruisers were like worth that much money. Like, yeah, they're made in Japan. And I know there's Land Cruiser people out there and I may get hate for this, but like $90,000 to $100,000 for like a Land Cruiser that's just like old tech. Like, yeah, it has the V8 and stuff in it. It has some wood grain and it's a nice plush interior made in Japan. I get that. But like, it's just old. And like for it to be like more than what the Sequoia is now, if you only care about like tech and performance, like it was kind of obnoxious. But now, anyways, that the Land Cruiser is under the Sequoia, it kind of leaves room for the 4Runner to like be a little bit more of a wild card, if that makes sense, right? Because the 4Runner is now not 4Runner, Sequoia, and then Land Cruiser for those that want to ball out, but like kind of ball out discreetly and like buy an $80,000 Toyota vehicle, right? And it's like not a Lexus. Now that the Land Cruiser is cheaper-ish than the Sequoia, it's kind of like the 4Runner is like in this new world. I feel like it's gonna be. So like I feel like Toyota may really push the edgy envelope on the 4Runner and really push it towards like the off-road audience. And then like the Land Cruiser now has that dual hat that the current 4Runner has. Like, does it want to be the soccer mom mobile? Does it want to be the mall crawler? Or do you want to buy it and actually use it off-road and make it crazy? The 4Runner will be like, hey, this car is crazy. You can take it to the mall, but like it'll be like the Tacoma where it has the more aggressive ground clearance, I feel, right? You could take off the front air dam, most likely. Like if you look at all the Tacomas, they seem pretty raised up like this one for the most part. Maybe a little bit wider with some wider kind of fender flares on the 4Runner. If they throw a manual transmission in it, that'd be just wild. That'd be just so crazy to see in a 4Runner again. But I've been wrong about some things on this channel before. I've been pretty decent about like some guesses and stuff. Obviously, you know, I hear things at certain events and know people in the Toyota community. So like I don't disclose too many secrets, right? Because I still want to share things and wait things for certain events to happen and stuff. So I don't just like say, oh, guess what I heard? This is what it is. And then Toyota's like, yo, John, you ruined that surprise. You're not showing the video to your audience. Or the vehicle to your audience. So like, I would rather, you know, tease things and talk about things as they become public. That way I get to, you know, show you guys the vehicle firsthand, because there's been some people in the past that, you know, wanted their 5 seconds of fame and I did not see them at certain events. So, but a 6-speed option on the 4Runner would be good, especially, dude, if you have a family. If they keep the rear roll down window on that, that's great for the dogs. You could throw the dogs in the cargo area. Most likely those seats will recline back, so you'll have a lot more space than the Tacoma. And I really do hope that the 4Runner actually does have the same powertrains as the Tacoma, because depending on where they put the batteries in that vehicle, if it is like the Tacoma, they may just put them under the second row. That'll be interesting for how those seats will fold forward, or like how they will fold those seats for like a flat kind of like camping setup in the hybrids. But if it has both powertrain options like the Tacoma has, maybe that will allow people, which was like the Sequoia's downfall, they just did hybrid is just standard, right? And people hate the back seat situation. And the best way to alleviate that would be like, yo, we could buy a Sequoia that's not a hybrid, and then you have a completely flat rear cargo space, right? So that would be cool. I'm very curious if the 4Runner does have both powertrains, like how they're gonna put that into the 4Runner, how they're gonna still make those the second row fold flat, just to be a good cohesive cargo area. Maybe they'll do it like the Land Cruiser. Actually, that's probably what they'll do. Is they'll do it with like the Land Cruiser for the hybrids. Is they'll just put all the batteries in the back and kind of have just a tiny like raised up floor maybe, and then that way when you put the seats down in the Land Cruiser, it's not perfectly flat, but it's somewhat flat, and there is a tiny little gap back there. The current 4Runner, I mean, those seats fold down. Jesus, I cannot talk right now. Those seats fold down flat, especially if you have the cargo slide. Like I have the cargo slide in my 4Runner. So when you fold those seats forward, they tumble, and then the other one falls onto that, super flat. But if you don't have that cargo area, it's kind of like up like this a little bit from the back. So even right now, the current 4Runner isn't completely flat unless you have the cargo slide area. But I don't know, dude. We'll see. I'm super excited to see that. Hopefully we get some sort of a teaser soon, right? Like I just want a teaser saying like, hey, it's coming, whether it's like GTA 6, right? Like where they just give us the teaser now and they say 2024 or 2025, like, and not draw it out. Like just let us know, right? Let us know so we can speculate a little bit, give us a little bit of a teaser. Yeah, I'm excited for it though. We got a donation. Thank you so much. Aldo, dude, thank you. You guys don't have to donate, but I definitely appreciate it. Every single bit of money this YouTube makes goes right back into the channel. It helps me buy the vehicles, helps me work with companies, pay the mortgage too, to like house these vehicles and do stuff for you guys. But dude, even $2 goes a long way. That's a gallon of gas, man. I appreciate it, Aldo. But Aldo says, hey John, 4Runner 2023 or take the risk on a Land Cruiser for 2024. We kind of touched on this a little bit, and sorry I'm a couple minutes behind on this donation. But man, that's hard because in Sammy's question about like the 4Runner for that price or the Land Cruiser for a little bit more, it just honestly depends on which one you're trying to get, right? Because like it really depends on what the pricing after the 1958 is going to be. Because if you're looking at just price for price, you can get a TRD Pro 4Runner top of the line, insanely good resale value for about 56-ish, right? If it's like MSRP, it's around 56, which is freaking crazy. So around 56, or if you're just looking at the entry-level Land Cruiser, they already told us that that's going to start mid-50s. And the interior of that, like I know that they were pre-production vehicles that I saw in Utah, but my gosh, like the interior of that for $55,000 is like bare bones, like cloth seats, even though it's like tweed, I think tweed is the proper name for those seats. Like it looks cool. It's just very old school though, and just a very basic interior. Whereas for that same price, like you could get a 4Runner TRD Pro with insanely good resale value. But at the end of the day, like it is old. It's a very old powertrain. It's a very old vehicle, but it is bulletproof. So I know I'm not like answering your question, but I feel like that's just what you got to kind of go off of is like my money for money. Like if you're worried about like the resale value, I would make sure that it's a TRD Pro because those 4Runners hold their value like crazy. Or if you want to take the risk on the Land Cruiser and let's say like the actual Land Cruiser grade is only at like $60,000. If that's the case, I feel like the Land Cruiser is a bit better of a purchase than the 4Runner just because you get a lot more standard features in that Land Cruiser. It looks nicer on the inside. The powertrain, I haven't driven the hybrid yet, Tacomas, so I don't know how the Land Cruiser hybrid powertrain will perform. So, but just numbers on paper wise, it's going to be a lot better. And if the miles per gallon is actually true to what we saw in that Land Cruiser gets anywhere close to 27 miles per gallon, that as well would really make me want to get a Land Cruiser over a 4Runner just for like MPG's sake as well. So those are kind of multiple options for you. I know I didn't tell you exactly 4Runner or exactly Land Cruiser, but those are like kind of the things that I would look for is the resale value of them. What am I getting for like the money, right? Like for my $55,000, I'm getting a lot here, proven platform, not so much here. Or if I spend maybe $5,000 more, depending on what the Land Cruiser is, now I'm getting like a really nice vehicle, more power, better MPG, all of that stuff. All right, so I jumped to Aldo's. Thank you again, man, for the donation, but I think I lost my spot. I think we're here. Nope, Lenny. Yep. Oh, no, Astro. That was the one I asked Astro to resend what he meant. Appreciate everyone for coming in tonight, man. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever you all celebrate. I appreciate you all stopping in on this Tuesday. We are catching up on comments right now. Just answered Aldo's question. Appreciate the donation, bro. I think we're right here. How much do you think the shocks? Yes, we are right here on Michael's question. How much do you think the shocks of your 4Runner will cost to replace with labor? Is this something you are thinking about? Yeah, so I'm in talks right now with Yoda Mafia to put the new Old Man Emu suspension on the 4Runner potentially. We'll see how that goes. Depending on how fast the shop says that they can do stuff and their labor costs, I believe suspension, and you should be able to see this on shocks or suspension companies' websites. They may give you an install window, right, of like 3 to 5 hours or so. And a lot of install shops are anywhere, at least in my area, it depends on your area. My shops are pretty much like $85 to like $125 an hour. So if it's around a 4-hour job to 5-hour job, you can expect to pay close to like $500 in labor to install shocks. I don't know because I work with Yoda Mafia in exchange for content and everything and shouting their company out, getting hundreds of people over there for great quality installs by Ryan. So like we have a deal working on like content generation and all that stuff, but I know that they're around $100 an hour for part installation, I believe. I'm not sure if that's specific parts. If some things are easier, it's a flat rate. I'm not 100% sure, but I just know shops in my area are anywhere from 85 to like 125. If you're in California, it's probably more. If you're like middle of nowhere, North Dakota, it's probably cheaper, right? So it just depends on your area, but I believe that suspension companies have in their websites, or you could even call them too, like saying, hey, what's the estimated time that it would take to like install these shocks? And you also got to think too, right, if the shocks come pre-assembled, because if the shocks don't come pre-assembled with like a spring and all that stuff, that may take extra time when you go to a shop to have them put the suspension onto your vehicle, because they have to compress the spring down, put the strut up, tighten everything, make sure the top hats are all good and everything too on the shock. So there's a lot of stuff that potentially goes into it. That's why I feel like if you're buying suspension, it's better to just pay for a fully assembled kit, make sure it's to the specs that you want. That way you can get it, go to the shop, they just boom, put it in the front, put it in the back, and you're good to go. But I am thinking about new suspension on the 4Runner, whether we go that route or I go a different route. I think that the 4Runner, it's either not going to be sold soon. I'll either give it away, or it's going to go through like a very good renovation or rehab or restoration, I should say. I have real estate on my mind. Restoration. There's some dents in it that I want to get PDI'd. I want to repaint part of the bumper just because I backed up into a mailbox and there's some scratches on it. I need to get a new light housing for the front of it because I threw away the plastic, so the bumper sits on it all messed up because I'm an idiot. I want to supercharge the 4Runner. Like if I'm going to keep that 4Runner forever, I want to supercharge it with a Magnuson kit and just make it like the ultimate mall crawl 4Runner. I'm proud. I don't care like if it's a mall crawler. People know that it's a mall crawler. I don't give a crap. I'll own it. I don't care. Like that's what I enjoy to do with the 4Runner. It's the dog mobile, like, and I just want it to be super clean up the frame and everything. There's some mud and stuff on it, some surface rust just because I've like left mud on it, and just detail the crap out of that vehicle and just make it a weekend 4Runner with the dogs when you go to the beach, the park, anything like that, and just have it be a super clean build. If I keep it forever, that's like the 4Runner's vision for me. Wyatt says, what do you think? What do you think your new Tacoma will have as far as payload capacity goes, with it being fully spec'd out? I think that it'll be around 1,400 pounds is what that one will be. I had the Tacoma sheets because it has everything, man. Oh, this is the V-Spec sheet from my Tacoma. I'm trying to find the actual Tacoma stuff, and I recently just refreshed my laptop and got rid of a whole bunch of crap on it. Tacoma stuff. But I think that here we go. And oh no, I don't think this shows the payload. This is an older one. I don't need that. Yeah, it'll probably, and we'll check the door when I get my truck. I'm going to show you guys everything with that truck, and not to like be the dead horse on that truck with the channel, but like that's going to be a good focus of content in January, is because it's going to be fresh. I'm going to be one of the channels to showcase that stuff for you guys. And don't think like the content will be, half-assed. Like I still want it to be very good quality content, but like there may be more short form videos with it, kind of like answering questions, right? Like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, they have these cool features to where if you leave a comment, you can make a video in a reply to that comment. So that may just be the thing that I do with the Tacoma, just for short, quick one-hitters. And if I see like the same question asked multiple times about the truck, then I'll be like, yo, this is going to be a good content long form wise to make for the truck. But yeah, I would want to say that the payload will be around 1,400 to maybe 1,300 to 1,500 pounds. I think the max payload on the Tacoma is like 1,700 pounds. For a TRD off-road. So it may surprise me. I don't know. We'll see with that truck. Marty Vision says, I have a new 20... What the heck? Oh, Sierra. Oh, I thought you were going to say Canyon. I was like, I've missed that on your channel. That's why I asked about the Canyon AT4 versus the new Tacoma. Yeah, so I mean, if you have that GMC audience and stuff on the channel kind of already, and you can feel the vibe from your audience for that, then that may be the move. But at the same time, like, gonna go to a Toyota after this lease is up. But the cult following for Toyota, and people like it, right? Maybe have the Tacoma, and then if you get your hands on an AT4 or something like that, like at a dealership, that could be good too. Astro Gamer says, sorry, bro. Would you or your family be buying into the Land Cruiser? Gotcha. No worries. Don't even worry about it. I just couldn't understand that one at first. I do really want a Land Cruiser. I'm working on trying to get one as well. With our moving down to Tampa and logistics wise of when that Land Cruisers may come, not sure if I'll be able to get one like right away, or if we need to let some money cool off first. But I do very much so plan on having a Land Cruiser on the channel to showcase for you guys relatively long term, 6 months to a year for a Land Cruiser. And then if the 4Runner is getting announced next year and is coming out next year, and if it has a rear roll down window and we do end up purchasing it, because if it does not, I will not be purchasing it, and I will be leading the charge to boycott that 4Runner. But if that's the case, then I may end up trading in the Land Cruiser for the 4Runner, just because I love the 4Runner. I'm a diehard 4Runner fan. So that may be the reason why the Land Cruiser is a little bit short-lived on the channel, would be because if the 4Runner is announced next year, and if we are getting it next year. So, but yes, I 100% plan on a Land Cruiser. I also plan on a GX, having that relatively long-term as well. It just depends. We have the Tacoma, the Land Cruiser, potential 4Runner next year, and we do know that the GX is coming out. I was really hoping to get a GX in January, but it does not sound like that is happening, just based on things getting delayed with that truck and everything, which kind of stinks. So the GX may just end up being one of those things with me moving down to the Tampa area and getting able to have the luxury of having multiple press vehicles, way more than here, which is absolutely incredible, guys. We're talking like close to 20, 22, 23, 24 press vehicles a year, which here, if you guys have been following around on my channel, I only get like 2 to 3 to 4 maybe a year if I'm really lucky. Still thankful to get those trucks to showcase for you guys on the channel, but down there, man, it is like insane. So it's going to be so cool for the channel. So maybe that will be like the way to get the GX down there and kind of like live with it, is if I can get a couple different GXs, like whether we get a luxury, a premium, and an overtrail, something like that. Then that will be like 3 weeks worth of having a GX, and we can get the vibe of the channel, and we can see if it will be worth buying a GX on the channel. But as of right now, I'm kind of like, I want a GX really bad, but I'm kind of like pushing that towards the back burner just because of the Land Cruiser and because of the potential 4Runner next year. It would just be crazy to try to work all 3 of those. Like I could not do that. Won't get much hate. They only sold 2K Land Cruisers a year. Yeah, that is true. So I mean, that is true, but they do have a cult following, that the 200 series, and that's why they were so expensive too, man. They didn't sell that much, and that's why they went away. But like at the same time, the ones that did sell like sold for a premium. So it was just a weird time for the 200 series Land Cruiser, man. And like, because the Sequoia was nothing good at that time. The second gen Sequoia, aside from like the 5.7 in it, which was really good and it had a ton of space on the inside was really old looking. Like it had a tinier screen than like this phone until they updated with the CarPlay and stuff. But it just, I was never a big fan of the second gen Sequoia, aside from just the powertrain and the interior space and stuff. Like aside from that, I personally did not like the looks of the Sequoia, the second gen Sequoia, or the interior. The first gen I like for some reason. Like for me, it goes like third gen looks, first gen looks, second gen looks, and then it goes second gen interior, first gen interior, third gen interior, like space wise and just functionality. But then tech and power, third gen all the way, man. Like the third gen just absolutely rocks. It's crazy. Wood Duck says, do you think that Toyota needs to make an HD Tundra sooner rather than later to compete like with GM and Ford? Because I'm starting to see a lot of people driving GMC HDs. Unfortunately, I don't think Toyota will ever do a heavy-duty truck. I don't think that they sell enough Tundras to warrant that, or if they really even see the demand for it, honestly. Like, because this question has come up a lot, like, at the Toyota events, and I don't think that... Oh, wow, we are really far behind on questions. This was a while ago, so I hope you're still in here. And because there's not that many questions here, so I've just been taking my time. So I'm sorry that a lot of these questions are a little bit older. I don't think that they'll ever do that, man. I just think that they're just letting, honestly, the full-size truck segment go to those dudes, like, because Toyota doesn't care to compete with Ford or Chevy to be like the #1 selling truck. They don't, because they know their Tacoma's the #1 selling like midsize truck. I just don't see Toyota ever really doing that, honestly. The hybrid, the iForce Max, is kind of like their closest power number wise and stuff that I feel like they're ever going to get to giving us a HD truck, like a heavy duty truck, unless they come out like with a prime version of that, like a plug-in hybrid with like some better batteries and stuff that like makes those numbers go even higher. I don't see that happening personally. Dude, a GMC 2500 Denali or AT4, gosh, that is a good looking truck. It's a nice looking truck, that's for sure. 67 Sports Wagon says the LC200 had a spec 25-year service life on all components with little to no repairs anticipated. Those days are over. That's why the high price, which is very true too. I mean, because it's been around forever, right? Like that powertrain has been around for absolutely ever. And it's just bulletproof. There's no crazy moving parts or anything like that. So, I mean, that makes sense. You know, people want it. I drive a 2021 Tacoma four-wheel drive, 431,000 miles plus counting every day, and it has a 6-speed. That's going to last forever. Yeah, Marty Vision says GTA is going to be sweet. Dude, it's going to be so cool. I can't wait. And it's based in Florida, too, so, like, when that trailer came out, I was like, that is such Florida vibes. Like, that is just so cool. I can't wait for the game. It's going to be forever, but I can't wait for the game. It's going to be so sick. Jose says, do you recommend buying the extended warranty on the Tacoma if I will be using it for regular daily driving? It depends, honestly, like where you buy it, because there are some dealerships out there that still do a unlimited warranty. Like my 4Runner has a lifetime powertrain warranty on it, which is crazy. My Tundra has a lifetime powertrain warranty on it for me. Like when I sell it, unfortunately, that new owner does not have it. If you plan on having the truck for a while and you can get an extended warranty at a good price, then yeah, I mean, I would do it just because it's untested, and especially if you like could get it like under $2,000, like that would be nice. But ultimately, it just depends on your ROI from it and if it would be worth it for the price that it is for what you get out of it. At You says, I wonder what Santa has in his bag for kids of their loved ones. I'm not sure what that has to do. I haven't been keeping up with that political stuff. Darush says, not digging the 5,300 RPM red line on the new 6-speed. Yeah, I don't know if that's to save the transmission or if that's more for they don't want people grenade shifting it. Maybe that is like a built-in dummy feature. So if someone misshifts, it doesn't rev up like super, super high. I'm not sure. And honestly, I really haven't looked at the red lines and stuff for the 6-speed manual. Ryan, what up, man? Says, what's up, John? I'm worried that the new Tacoma is too expensive. Is it really $41,000 for an SR5 4-wheel drive? I'm definitely disappointed in the big price bump. Might as well buy an SR5 Tundra. I don't remember if it is around that price. The whole configurator is live now. That sounds about right, but I think if you get the double cab, it's around that price. You do get more stuff on this Tacoma, right? But it's just Toyota making you pay for more standard features, right? So hopefully, though, rates come down and it starts to make sense. But there's going to be a lot of people cross-shopping the Tundra with the Tacoma, and it just depends on what features you want on the vehicle, right? Because you can potentially get a Tundra cheaper than certain Tacomas in that regard. But it just depends, like, do I need a full-size truck? Do I need a half-ton truck or a mid-size truck? It just really depends, man. Been thinking about trying to get a deal on a Sierra 1500 diesel. I assume you meant 1500 diesel. But I just don't feel compelled. They keep asking me when I want to come in for it. I replaced both front and rear bumpers on the rig. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like a lot of people say that diesel engine is great. That 3.0 is very good on those Sierras. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard because like the thing that's just so crappy is like their values drop. Like the domestic brands, they drop hard in value. That's like why Untamed got rid of his ZR2, like that Silverado, just because he just sees, I mean, he's always looking at like stuff and prices and dealers and stuff, right? But like he just saw that the values of those are just going down fast. And that's just how Chevy is, unfortunately. And you know, that's why you get good deals, right? On Chevys, like up front, everything looks great. But then when you try to resell, it may not be as great in the end. It just all depends. But then how's your ownership experience? There's just so many things that like go into that too. But I mean, I've heard nothing but good, though, at least about this new 3.0 Duramax that they have in the truck. And this is like the second version of it. And it gets great gas mileage too, which is nice. Sir Skippy says, what is your wife driving now after selling the Sequoia? Pretty much the 4Runner. The 4Runner is pretty much hers right now when she does drive it. Like we both work from home, which is nice, and we drive like when we need to. But there have been some days where she's like, I got to go here for my real estate. I got to go here and then here. I'm like, can you drive the truck? Because I don't want you to put that many miles onto the 4Runner, please. So like she'll occasionally drive the truck. I'm sure she's going to drive the Tacoma a little bit. It just depends on how many miles the dealership like is okay with me putting on this Tacoma before we trade it in. Because now that the Tacoma is essentially stock, she actually really likes the Tacoma platform and how the Tacoma drives a little bit better than the 4Runner just because of like the seating position for her, like being shorter. She likes the Tacoma more. So now that the Tacoma is pretty much stock, I'm going to be putting on smaller tires, like stock tires back onto the Tacoma. The whole roof rack thing is off. The deck system's out. The rooftop tent, tire carrier, it's all off the truck. So it's a stock truck. essentially for her. So she may drive this. It just depends on how many miles I'm allotted with the dealer to put onto this truck before I trade it in. Because it's only at like, I think 13,000 miles or 14,000 miles. No, it's 14,000 miles, 500, and then XX or whatever, because it just keeps going up. Hopefully I can keep it under, like, with the drive to the dealership, hopefully I can keep it under 17,000 before I trade it in. It should be less than that. Jim says dealers, at least some up here, are marking up the new Tacoma. Toyota should step in on these dealers. They're crazy priced enough. I 100% agree. At the end of the day, it comes to supply and demand. If, people want the Tacoma and they're more than willing to pay for it, they're going to get it, right? And they're going to get it before you because they want to pay more. But just keep in mind, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of these Tacomas eventually. Those people that have deep pockets and they don't give a crap, they're going to get it right away, right? Unless, they are at those specific dealerships. There are dealerships that are doing these trucks at MSRP in the beginning, right? But there's also those capitalizing on the immediate first buyers that just want the truck right away. Ooh, new shiny object. I have money. I want to pay for it. And that's capitalism, right? Like that is how the world goes around. That's how people make money with things. And the people that have made money that want those trucks, they're able to buy it because they worked super, super hard and they don't care about paying $5,000 to $10,000 over. Now, the super greedy dealers at that $10,000 over, they can get bent. I understand $1,000 to $2,500, maybe $5,000 over MSRP. I get, right? Like that's not overly greedy. The dealership is making some money. They realize that maybe when there's 10, 15, 20 trucks on their lot, they're going to have to sell for under MSRP. Granted, they get incentives from Toyota and all this stuff, so they don't really lose a whole lot. But still, there's a difference between supply and demand and, making a little bit more money up front because it's a hot new thing, and then greed. And that's what I tried to be apparent in that video that I said, don't buy the Tacoma. Dealerships are already ruining it. There's a difference between, supply and demand, which is just normal. We get that. And then just pure greed. So hopefully, I get that the prices are already crazy. Toyota, unfortunately, they can do stuff with their dealerships, but all their dealerships are private, right? Think of a franchise like McDonald's. I'm not saying there is to a T of that, but franchises or private dealerships can do somewhat of their own stuff that they want. They can control what their dealership does and dock fees and this and that and what's added onto the vehicle, right? But honestly, I personally think that the only thing a dealership should be good for is test drives and freaking servicing and stuff. And even that at certain dealerships, it's not the best. But just test drives and servicing and everything else, this is the price, this is what Toyota dictates, there's the car, right? And just have it across the board. I feel like that would be a lot better. JGR says, I see the Tacoma roof rack is gone. It must be taking up so much room in your garage. I'll take it off your hands for you, bro. If you want to come get it, let me know, man. But I have a individual picking it up tomorrow. Flash sale for him, pretty much half off, for the roof rack. He's going to put it on his Tacoma and enjoy it. But yeah, the roof rack's off. Cleaning it up there. I don't know the best way to go about because I drilled the holes for the roof rack. So I just used the clear silicone and just really squirted it in there to make sure that it doesn't leak for the next owner of this truck. And then I'm just going to put some good, nice automotive tape down on top of that and then silicone around that again and then just put the strips back on and make sure that those are all in place. And I feel like that's going to be overkill, but I just want to make sure that it's good. But yeah, dude, the roof rack's off, the bed rack's off, that's sold. The rooftop tent, that's sold that for a super cheap price to a couple that they're going to put it on their Jeep, and they were super ecstatic about it. Bed rack sold. Rock sliders, I'm taking these off for an individual. The only thing I'm really keeping on the truck is going to be the Cali raised front bumper. And I'm taking this grill off too, the Yodaverse one. I'm going to put the stock one back on. And I was going to leave this on it, but now that I'm putting the truck pretty much back to stock to trade it in, I think that this would look cool in my future office because it actually lights up on the side. And even though the marker lights, it's Raptor lights, it shouldn't be on a Tacoma or whatever, but I think that these would be cool lit up like in a background or whatever in a future office. So I'm gonna keep the grill for decor in the next office. Just asked my West Kendall, Miami, Florida. They are getting a 2024 Tacoma around TRD around 1228. So I might swing by just to take a look and see how I feel about it, or wait for the new Land Cruiser because it looks like that. Yeah, dude, that's crazy because there's not that many coming in at SET region. So the fact that that's there, if it's sold, then man, that stinks because that could have been, I could have got that one. But I went outside of SET region just because they typically don't get vehicles that fast. And I'm not sure if that's a TRD Sport or a TRD Off-Road, because I did see somewhere that there's not that many TRD Off-Roads coming into SET early. It's a lot of SR5s and TRD Sports coming this way. SET is the Southeast Toyota region. If you guys don't know, the whole United States is divided into multiple Toyota regions. When is the hybrid coming out? The hybrid's coming out around spring time frame for the Tacoma. Matt says, I've noticed that most car companies advertise capability and performance. Toyota advertises the dealership experience. The dealership's own Toyota. Little sad. Yeah, that is true. I do get that, man, and it sucks because we don't have cable, but we have been watching football on like the streaming services and stuff, or like some shows. We need to get out of it again because we've been watching too much TV, and it is the holidays, but get that mentality gone. We have to work and get crap done to get where we want to be. But some of these streaming services that we use, we see commercials. I pay for YouTube Premium. If you can afford YouTube Premium and because YouTube is my TV, I'm on YouTube all the time making content for you guys and watching other people's content. I don't watch ads anymore on YouTube. I pay the $25 or $30, whatever it is a month for YouTube Premium. It's so nice. So then in these streaming services, when you have to watch ads, even though you pay for the freaking services, it's so stupid. I start to see commercials now. And dude, Ford, 2.9% APRs, Chevy, 0.9% APRs. Where is that, Toyota? Even on the Toyota commercials, when they come up, I'm like, ooh, let me see what their rates are. Lease a new RAV4 for $339 a month. They don't talk anything about deals and incentives of APRs. And that is one thing that I don't like about Toyota. But at the same time, it does keep the values of the vehicles higher, right? Because if you sell your vehicles cheap, unfortunately, that means the vehicle is cheap, right? You can't buy a GMC Sierra and you got it for $5,000, $10,000 under MSRP, and then you try to sell a week later or whenever later, and you're like, I'm gonna sell, MSRP is this, I'm gonna sell it for that. Why? When a dealership is offering $5,000 to $10,000 under MSRP, a 0.9% or whatever APR, right, for a new vehicle loan, and you're trying to sell that truck at the same price, your used vehicle price is so low. So that's another thing that does keep a Toyota value high, is they just don't slash their prices. It sucks for the consumer, right? Because you want the best deal possible, but you can't get it all the time on Toyotas. But where you save is in the back end, which it sucks because it's not immediate up front. You're not seeing it up front. It's in the back end. So yes, you may save, $5,000, $10,000 or whatever on the domestic vehicles and stuff, but you ultimately lose that in the end as well when you go to resell that, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I'm not going to speak for every single one, but in my experience, I have owned other brands, that's what happens, unless the world shuts down and everything is inflated through the roof again. But it is crazy that other dealers or companies are able to advertise that much. And yeah, Toyota does talk about their dealerships a little bit much on the commercials, or just lease incentives, right? You don't even own the vehicle or whatever. We still own the vehicle. You just pay this much. Kodiak's Ride says, a random question. Do you ever use those paddle boards? As a white water paddle boarder, I wanted to ask. Dang, dude, that's wild. But yes, we do. So We have two inflatable boat boards right there. We honestly did not use them this year, which actually sucks. We were renovating our new Airbnb and just stuff, I don't know. We just never made the time to just go out into the bay. But where we live also, there's not a whole lot of areas where we can paddleboard. Like, even if the weather is a little bit crazy, and I know you just said you whitewater paddleboard, so me saying this, I sound like a little baby. But the bay that's like right behind our house, the current there can get really strong. So like you can paddle out a good bit, right? And when you're going with the current, it's awesome. But then to paddle back, you have to, paddle really hard to come back. And when it's kind of windy, like the bay is so big, it actually has like little waves and white caps and stuff. And it's not like the best paddleboarding experience. But we used them a lot last year when we bought them. We probably used them, man, dude, close to like 10 times, 15 times or whatever. And we bought them, I think, during summertime. So we used them a lot last year. But then this year we just didn't really use them. We went out once to use them. But the waves and the current was just so bad, and it was like a beautiful day. But when we get down to Tampa, I can't wait to use them a lot because there's a ton of clear water springs down there, tons of freshwater area, tons of rivers, lakes, canal, like everything. There's so much more water sports down there than there is here, because really all we have here is a couple lakes, but a lot of them are protected, so you can't like introduce your stuff into them. You have to use their equipment. And then the bay and then the beach sometimes is flat enough to where you can actually go out into the Gulf and use the paddle boards. But I love paddleboarding. It's such a great workout, and it's so good. Astro says, are you selling the green Taco or are you going to trade it in? I'm going to trade it in as of now. The value that the dealership gave me plus the taxes savings is actually more than what I could sell it for, it seems like, private party. So as of right now, I'm going to trade the Tacoma in. And it's cool because I will get to have this Tacoma right next to my new Tacoma to make a side-by-side comparison video for you guys. Yo, what up, Ghosted? Hope you had a great Christmas as well, man. Appreciate you stopping in and DMing me on Instagram as well. Merry Christmas, dude. Reese says, I just got a 21 Tacoma Pro. How necessary is the Fox shock service? I don't know. I haven't done it on this truck, and this truck's at 14,000 miles, and this is a 2022, and the shocks are super plush. So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe call Fox themselves and say, hey, how necessary is this? Or if it's in the owner's manual and you like want to keep warranty with the truck, then I would just service them potentially. But I mean, I know that shocks are typically good, and I may be wrong. People correct me in the comments because I don't know everything about vehicles. But I know shocks should be good for around 50 to 65,000 miles, like until you need to like somewhat rebuild them. Or if your truck is like just swaying a bunch like this, then it may be time to reservice them. But like, dude, if the truck feels solid, like I'd personally just leave them, honestly, if it was me. Matt says, will you video your pickup and drive home experience? 100%, Matt. So if I do trade this in, which that ends up what it's going to be, there will be some footage of driving this truck there and just experiencing this truck stock and then getting in the other one and driving it straight back. Side-by-side comparison videos, MPG videos of my road trip back, just how the truck was to road trip. Maybe that will just be all kind of in its own one video. But I really enjoyed when I was off-roading in California, like doing the multiple camera angles and like having a better edited video. And maybe I could do kind of like a vloggy style video, I guess, of just how it was to pick up the truck and see how things are. Maybe I'll do a poll and just see what type of video people want to see. I know a lot of the people on this channel really just like the straightforward videos. Hey, here's the information, here's how it is. But there's also the group of people on here that want more of, not vlog style, but just more of like, more personal videos, I guess. And I do see that in the analytics too. I see that, and because YouTube is a business, but like I want it to be, what's the best way to say this? Like, I don't want my YouTube to revolve around money. I don't care about that. It's nice that I'm able to do this and it makes money and I get to buy these vehicles to show for you guys, right? But like, if it was a little bit more personal, I feel like people would care more about certain videos instead of just like here for the cars, if that makes sense, right? Like, it may be an unpopular mod that I do to a vehicle, but where am I trying to go with this? Basically, like, if I was a little bit more personal on the channel, I feel like more of a regular audience would show for those type of videos, if that makes sense, versus just like, hey, here's the car. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. I care about the car. Oh, car's gone. Don't care about. What's the new car? Kind of a thing, if that makes sense. So 2024, I'm going to try to be a little bit more personal on the YouTube. I'll just end it at that. I'm going to be trying to be a little bit more personal on YouTube with stuff, more interactive like this, like with the live streams and whatnot, but also keeping the information super fast and super quick for those that want that stuff, but then also continuing the video being a little bit more personal. I think that's the vibe that I'm gonna go with for 2024, and we'll see how it goes. So like for that video of, you know, driving it home, the experience of the road trip and stuff, I may just start out by saying, yo, this truck's freaking awesome. I got this mile per gallon going from Virginia back home. This truck was great. It was so much better than my 3rd gen driving there. There's a side-by-side video of those if you guys want to check that out. But this is the new truck. Let's get into like the vlog or whatever. So like, I give everyone the information straight up front. And if you want to hang out for the rest of it, maybe that'll be the way that we go about it. But Ghosted says, John, do you think that the TRD off-road premium package for $8,800 will be a more reasonable price if the package came with DRL headlights that came on the Pro and Limited? I think it will, but we'll see what Alpha X has to do with it too, right? But I like these headlights, man. These are awesome in this one. I haven't really seen the Pro and the Limiteds. Like, they light up on the sides and stuff, and they're cool, and they have like that little tiny DRL. But I think that the Tundra and like the premium Tundra headlights versus the non-premium Tundra headlights have a bit more distinction, and you could tell like, ooh, those are some premium headlights. Personally, I feel like on the Tacoma, they're not like overly distinctive, so I don't feel like I'm getting screwed too much. I mean, the price alone is already screwing, right? But I don't feel like I'm getting screwed too much by it not having like premium headlights, if that makes sense. I feel like the difference on the Tundra is a bit more drastic than the Tacoma. Ryan says, bought a 2019 Sport in November of 18. Heck yeah. Couldn't get below 3% with a credit score of 805. But bro, that now though, even with a credit score of 805, you're still at like, depending on how much money you put down on the truck, you're still at like 5 to 6% or even 7% in some cases. Like my Tundra that I got, I put a good amount of money down to help pay down interest and stuff. But like even that is at like 5-ish%. I put nothing down on this, very similar credit score. And this one is at like 7.9% or something like that when I bought it in January. So, I mean, it's just crazy what the rates and stuff are. And of course, next year, right, it's going down because it's an election year. So let's make things look good, right, before elections and stuff. So like a lot of people are saying that the Fed is already saying like, hey, stuff will go down next year. So like if you're waiting to buy, you know, next year may be good to buy. But at the same time, if things are more affordable, that means prices will also go up, right? Because if a ton of people are going to the dealerships, holy crap, it's at 4%, 5%, the inventory is going to go like that. So it may be smarter to buy it now, pay a little bit extra of a monthly payment so interest doesn't go up like crazy on it. And then if rates do go down next year, like people are saying that they're going to, then refinance the vehicle. You already secured the vehicle. You're already paying over the monthly payment to help with interest. And now you refinanced it to a lower rate, and now your monthly payment will go down. That's how I see things for that, if you're able to. But if you are waiting for rates to go down, just keep in mind that the supply and the demand may not meet eye to eye, which will, no incentives at dealerships. Potentially can't get a Tundra for $4,000 under MSRP. Now it's at MSRP. It all depends, right? Jim says Toyota dealer here is loaded with RAV4s and Tundras and Camrys. Perfect segue off of that. $3,000 off on stock 23 Tacomas, RAV4s, Camrys, $6,000 off of a 23 Tundras. No 4Runners on the lot. Absolutely insane. Abdul says, hey, John, why did you decide to get a double cab? Oh, well, I already answered that, I thought. Unless you weren't in here and you dipped out. Because my Tundra is a 6.5-foot bed. I have a full-size truck. Personally, I like the way the 5-foot bed looks on the Tacoma over the 6-foot bed. Since I have a full-size truck with the bigger bed, I just elected to go for the shorter bed. Chris says, hey, John, I'm out on the new Tacoma. Too overpriced. I'll be looking at other trucks. Enjoy the other trucks, dude. Chevy has a very good comparative Tacoma or ZR2 or whatever, the freaking Colorado. But just keep an eye on when you start adding stuff up. It will be cheaper than the Tacoma. But again, kind of what we touched on earlier in the live stream, resale may also be a little bit lower on the back end, but it just depends on, your money up front too. Like, money talks for sure. Marty Vision says, you have any gator stories? Dude, the only gators I've seen here in Florida, obviously, have been on the golf course. That may change when I go down to Tampa area, because the gators actually like to hang out like in central Florida, because that's where more of the swampy stuff is, like Orlando, all those like central Florida, Ocala and stuff. So gators like to hang out there. I have seen some up in my area just when golfing and stuff, but no crazy gator stories in my area. That may hopefully not change, but that may change down in the Tampa area. Meg says, I always had terrible service center experiences at Honda. Upselling felt like work wasn't done right. I want to switch to Toyota. Is the service center experience any better? Would Lexus be better? Lexus would 100% be better than Toyota, I feel, just because they're a more premium brand. I feel like that would be the case for everything. Even with Honda, I feel like Acura may be a better experience than Honda, right? Because it's their more expensive product. But it honestly depends on your dealership. And that's crappy to say. Like, I don't want to blanket Toyota, because I've seen on Facebook pages, right, this dude today, I saw that he took his Tundra in for the fuel recall. He made it out of the dealership and somewhere, and the truck just shut off on him on the drive, and he's videotaping the truck just pissing gas out of it, right? So, I mean, that's a horrible service experience. I brought my truck in for this recall. The truck wasn't having any issues. You guys did the recall, and now my truck is leaking gas, and it shut off in the middle of the road. That is horrible. That is absolutely horrible. How things are missed like that, bro, I don't even know. So I can't talk for all of Toyota dealerships, right? That would piss me off. I'd be very upset with that. So I can't speak and blanket everything. Personally, though, I've had good experiences with my 2 local dealerships. One has been a little bit better than the other in some cases. Other cases, one has been better than the other in certain ones, right? So it just all depends. And I like to be straight up and honest with them too. Like, I don't like it if dealerships push you around. Like, for my Tundra, they're like, hey, we can't hear the window rattling. I'm like, that's BS, because it freaking rattles. And now we know it's the door. But instead of like going off on them and just being like, whatever, give me my truck, I was like, when I come there to pick up my truck, can I have either the service manager or their lead technician or someone ride with me in the truck so I can point out exactly what is pissing me off driving this truck? And they said yes. So, like, if the dealership is open to you doing that stuff and you're able to talk with them and whatnot, I feel like that's a better experience, versus something that's not that good. So I can't speak for all dealerships from Toyota, but at least here for me, like in my 2, I've had a decent experience with both of them. It just sucks that they're so far away, but it's all good. Anthony says, how do you feel about the Sequoia TRD Pro? The sound is great. Both the artificial pumped-in sound and the TRD exhaust. I love the TRD exhaust on the Sequoia TRD Pro. I could personally do without the camo fenders on the Sequoia TRD Pro. Just leave that to the Tundra, because nowhere else aside from the technical camo interior is there camo on the outside. Like, if it was just gloss black fender over flares like Jeff Westcott did for his SEMA build, that would be perfect on the Sequoia. Or just a rough plastic to match the grill on the Sequoia TRD Pro. I think it's very expensive, but it's cool that you at least get Fox suspension, TRD upper control arms now, a rear locker in a Sequoia multi-terrain select. It'll hold its value pretty well too versus the other trucks. But I think it's cool. It's a good replacement for the Land Cruiser 200 series, you know, since we didn't get the 300 series here in the United States to be that big of a vehicle. But again, the Sequoia, the Achilles heel on that, man, is the back cargo space. It's just not the best for families. It's fine. It depends on, you know, the age of your family and where they're at in life, because like if you have a car seat in the front seats of the Sequoia, you can't slide a captain's seat of the Sequoia at all. You can't fold it with a car seat there, so you're limited to one side to get into the back, or you walk in front of the car seat and go through the middle. And then the back seats, they don't fold completely flat. So that's just Sequoia in general. But the Tier D Pro, I enjoyed ours. I do wish it was in solar octane for the one that we found, but like it held its value. It was cool, and it has a ton of power, so much power in the Sequoia. Robert says, hey, John, do you recommend the premium package on the Tier D Sport? Personally, I do. It is expensive. So, I mean, if you have the means to pay for it, I personally will always try to do the premium vehicles from now on. I just, since I've experienced Softex and leather, since I've experienced heated seats, cooled seats, dual climate control, the bigger screen, like having those features and then going back to a vehicle that doesn't have those features makes you realize how much you actually like those features, if that makes sense. So for me, dual climate control is a must. My wife, I will have the AC on my side, and she has her side at 75 degrees with the heat seater on. Like it's just crazy. So for me, I enjoy having the bigger screen. Like in the Tundra, I love that 14-inch screen. Dual climate control is a must. I like Softex seats over the cloth, and the fact that you get heated and ventilated with that too is just nice. Yeah, I like going premium, so I think that I would recommend it if you can afford it on the monthly payments and stuff, because once you go premium, man, I mean, if we're talking Tacoma here, that is like the new one, that's, you know, $8,800, which that makes the MSRP just go so high. It's insane, like how quickly it can go up. But just keep in mind, if you want certain things that the premium package has, like if you only want the 14-inch screen, or if you only want heated seats, keep in mind, like it will be hard to find. But in the future, like when there's, you know, hundreds of thousands of these trucks out there, there will be packages here and there of like, hey, this is a baseline Tacoma Tier D Sport, but it has a 14-inch screen, or it has a 14-inch screen and it has heated seats. So like if there's only certain things that you want, maybe jumping $8,800 for a premium is not the best case. But like if you want all that stuff that I just said, even the automatic tailgate, like I feel like after I have that in this Tacoma and I use it a bunch of times, and then I go to a Tundra without it, I'm gonna be like, where's the automatic tailgate? You know, like first world problems, you have to lift up a tailgate. But like I've already realized like when it would be good, right? Like if your hands are full and you're like, you know, like to lift up a tailgate, right? This is dramatic, I know. But like instead you just nudge the thing and the tailgate goes up and you lock the vehicle and you're done, instead of putting this crap down, locking or shutting the tailgate, picking it back up. Like I get it's first world problems, whatever. But it's one of those things that once you have it, you realize the convenience of it, and you're like, oh, this is sick. All right, sounds good. VT, what's up? How's it going? Will you get the new Lexus or Land Cruiser? If I have to pick one, it's going to be Land Cruiser, just because it's Toyota for the channel. It's definitely going to be a bit cheaper, better gas mileage most likely, and hopefully I will be able to showcase the GX on this channel through press vehicles for you guys. But I would love to have both to experience both of them on the channel. It also depends on if the 4Runner is getting refreshed next year, or a new generation of that, and when that ultimately comes out too. Will dictate if we get multiple of those on the channel. Meg says, also random question, since you do real estate, what areas of Florida would you recommend for someone to move that's pretty affordable? So check on the areas, but Jacksonville is one of the cheaper areas in Florida to purchase at right now. There are very, very nice areas of Jacksonville. There's also insanely ghetto areas of Jacksonville, which obviously will be a lot more cheaper than, you know, nicer areas. But Jacksonville and then central areas of Central Florida are very affordable as well. Jacksonville, though, is like the only area on the coast like that has access to the ocean that is relatively affordable. But aside from that, like the stretch of central Florida, like where Orlando is and kind of down and up, is more affordable than all the beach towns that surround, like from the Gulf going all the way to the Atlantic side. But with that, just keep in mind it's going to be a lot hotter in the Orlando kind of proper area and like everything around it. It'll be a lot hotter there. Tons of tourism and stuff there too with the Disney parks and stuff. But I kind of like want to invest in Orlando just because there's so much going in Orlando, like sports teams and stuff going in there. The Pro Bowl is going to be there this year for like football, right? So like Orlando's going to have a lot of stuff going into it, and it's just blowing up like crazy even more. But it's still relatively affordable when compared to a lot of the beach towns. But if you're looking to be at a beachy place, then Jacksonville is definitely one of the more affordable areas to be in our area. Definitely not Miami. That is super expensive. And even here in the Panhandle area, like stuff is like comparable homes like in our Panhandle area are like more than Tampa actually. Cause like I see a lot of people talking about like how expensive Tampa is. I guess it just depends on like where you currently live and what things are at where you live. But like house for house, like depending on like where I'm looking in Tampa, it's like more affordable down there compared to like where I am here. So I would keep, I'm not sure where you live at, Meg, but I would keep that in mind too, like just what it kind of is. And like when you move to Florida, you know, or if you do, there's no state income tax. Now, granted, that's kind of offset too by higher property taxes and insurance as well. Insurance is stupid here. Like we just need to be at a statewide insurance and just have it be fed off of tourism and stuff. Just like we have no state income tax just because of all the tourists that come here, it helps pay for state taxes. So there's no reason to have state taxes just because of just the amount of tourism that we have here. But if they could also add no insurance here or like just lower insurance and have it be like a statewide insurance, that would be nice. So those are just definitely big things to take into consideration is insurance and property taxes too, depending on your county and how much things are. But Jacksonville, I've heard, is very affordable. And there are super nice areas of Jacksonville too, and you have the beach, which is really cool. Reality TV, real life POV, keep up the great work. Yeah, I think real life, some stuff would be cool on the channel. Just kind of like blending it in. I feel like it'd be nice. Hurt, what up, man? How's it going? Thanks for going in here. And Jim and someone else is talking about some things. Yep, if the truck you want is in front of you, buy it, refi later. Yeah, definitely talking about the rates and stuff. We're a little bit 12 minutes behind, but we're almost done. So I got 6 questions to answer, and hopefully you all are still in here. And if anyone else wants some last minute questions, go ahead and fire them out. But I see Kyle as the last question, and holy crap, we've already been doing this for an hour and 50 minutes. I haven't even been looking at the time. Holy smokes, dude. H says, just wanted to say I appreciate your channel a lot. Your name shines a lot of life with Toyota. Just recently bought a 23 Tundra Platinum. Can't wait to build the truck. Bro, congrats on the truck. The Platinum is a nice, solid interior. I hope your truck stays solid on you. But the powertrain alone, man, I recommend the Tundra just for the powertrain. Like it's just so good. It drives good. Granted, I haven't been in other vehicles and stuff too, right, to really compare to like the Fords and stuff, but I enjoy my Tundra Platinum, even though it has some issues and stuff here and there. Like I still really, really like the truck. So congrats, H. I appreciate the support, man. And the Tundra may have a little bit more of a build coming to it soon. Got some upper control arms coming for it, different wheels, probably going to downsize to 35s. I know that's not popular, but the 37s, like the truck moves, the 37's fine, but like I just don't care to have the 37s anymore. Like it looks cool, it looks great. It's nice to have 37s on the truck. It's still drivable. It doesn't, rub too bad, but like I just really want 35s on the truck for some reason. I just think that it's like the perfect look for the Tundra, and I know that it's not hurting the truck too much, like with the hubs and whatnot. I was more keen to go 37s on this truck because the wheels that I have on the truck only weigh like 18 pounds because they're the Monoforge Relations race wheels. So for like the total weight on the hub, it's not like too much. But I think once I put 18s on the truck, I'm probably gonna step down to 35s because Nitto has a 35 that's a C-load rated tire, which will make it an even plusher ride versus these are D-load rating, which is fine. It's not horrible, but a C-load rated tire will bring more of that stock ride feeling back. And I also need to put the TRD axles on it. I asked Jeff Westcott for the part number of that. I need to ping him. It has been Christmas time again. Just because that Dobinson's kit is a little bit over 3 inches, and there's a lot of people saying like, bro, you're over 3 inches. Like, put the TRD axles on your truck. I was like, they haven't broke yet. And they're like, have you put it in 4-wheel drive? I was like, just to pull the boat out of the water. But like, aside from that, I haven't like put the truck in 4-wheel drive, but I don't like want to have to need to put my truck into 4-wheel drive and then like accelerate and then snap the axles just because it's a little bit higher than 3 inches. Glass City says, I just put a deposit on a 24 Tacoma, 24 4Runner Pro and Underground coming in 2 weeks. Dude, that color is so sick. I need to make it to Toyota Fort Walton this week to see if they have a Trail Hunter, man, because that color looks so good on the 4Runner. Conflicting info on the sports rack and sunroof for Trail Hunter. Both in the spec sheet say standard, but different engineers have said that's not the case. I would personally go with the spec sheet. Engineers are just engineers for the truck, if that makes sense. They aren't part of like the aftermarket team or the spec sheet team. So I would go based off the spec sheet for that, just based on, when I talk to engineers and certain things for the truck, because like, there's the design department, even though the Tacoma engineer, Sheldon Brown, chief engineer, was like very hands-on with a lot of stuff. I would, if you heard conflicting things, like some engineers said it's on, some engineers said it wasn't, I would go off the spec sheet for that because I'm very certain that the Trail Hunter comes with a roof rack standard on it. HB says, hey, John, do you think that the off-road upgrade package includes heated seats? I believe it does, yes, but it does not include Softex seats. So I'm like 95% sure that you get heated seats, but it's not the Softex seats. Bo says, do you plan on getting any other new Toyota AAP accessories for your 24 Taco? Personally, I am not. I'm just going to do the Tacoma bare bones as it sits. The only thing I'm going to do is just the all-weather floor mats on the truck. But I'm not going to do any other additional ones right now. I'm planning on working with aftermarket companies rather than going through the Toyota AAP program. But if you want stuff under warranty for your truck and wrapped all up into one payment, like, you cannot go wrong with that stuff. It's a very cool program that Toyota has, but personally, I will not be. Kyle says, hey, John, is the adaptable variable suspension unlimited on all models or just the iForce Max version? If not, how is the limited really all that different than a TRD Sport with the premium package? I believe it's just the iForce Max versions that are going to have, actually, no, I think it's all of the limited will have that. It's just the iForce Max version will have the full-time 4-wheel drive system. I'm like, man, I would have to look again at the spec sheet for that, but I'm pretty certain that the limited had the ABS suspension, but only on iForce Max is where it was a full-time 4-wheel drive. Alex with a couple questions. He's trying to get a 2024 Tacoma. I think that I can get an aftermarket lighting for the Pro. So he says a 1794 with a 3-inch TRD lift package, Lunar Rock versus a TRD Pro, and then a Tundra iForce Max all the way, Longo Toyota, biggest to El Monte, California. Okay, so I think that would be one thing to consider is which one, if they both have an iForce Max, and if it's a TRD off-road package like you said, then that 1794 may be the better option. But again, resale value though, that Tundra TRD Pro is going to hold a better value than the 1794. But if the 1794 is a bit cheaper, which They're going to be really close in price, especially if it's an iForce Max. I personally would probably lean TRD Pro. Even though like the interior of the 1794 is going to be better, excuse me, I would personally lean towards the TRD Pro. That's just me personally. Now, if it was a Platinum with the same TRD off-road package with the 3-inch lift kit, and if the dealership was selling it with like 33-inch tires or something like that, I may lean towards the Platinum, especially if it had a iForce Max in it as well, just because I like the Platinum interior a little bit better than the 1794. The 1794 interior, while it is really, really nice, especially this saddle brown, I just personally like a darker interior with the all black. I think that's why I like the TRD Pro too, especially now that it has the black headliner. I just like a darker interior. This Tacoma, black interior. My new Tacoma, black interior. Asked for a black interior. Thankfully got a black interior. 4Runner, all black. Tundra, all black. I just like a darker interior. And the 1794 has more of lighter accents in it, if that makes sense. But man, dude, if they're super close in price, I would probably go TRD Pro. DIY Tacoma, what's up, man? When will you be getting your Tacoma? Hopefully, like the second or third week of January. I'm really, really hoping the second to third week of January. 40 Ounce Gaming says, will a lift kit void a Toyota warranty? 23 Tundra, thanks and Merry Christmas. Dude, hopefully you had a great Christmas too. So lifting your truck, it all depends, right? It won't void the whole warranty. And what a dealership has to do, it's called the Magnuson-Moss Act. And if you guys want to look it up on Google, you can. But essentially what it states is that if a dealership is going to void a warranty of something on your truck due to an aftermarket part, they have to prove that that component made that part fail. So with this truck here, right, I put the AFE cold air intake on it. If I had an issue with my rear end of this truck and it's under warranty, and I go to the dealership and they're like, you installed an aftermarket air filter, we're not taking care of that. Cool. Let me know how allowing a little bit more air into the engine makes a rear end of a truck go out. So that's kind of like what that law states, right? So if you were to lift your truck, guaranteed you would lose warranty most likely on suspension components, because the stock suspension components is not in the truck anymore, and most likely everything that the suspension touches, right? Like the upper control arms, potentially the knuckles and stuff too. Like if dealerships really want to go crazy, if you add bigger tires onto your truck, they may void the warranty for like your hubs or stuff like that in the truck too. So, but basically a dealership has to prove that that part made a certain part fail. So it will void certain things, right? But at the end of the day, the dealership has to say like, hey, this part made this fail, right? But now that Toyota has a 3-inch lift kit with the TRD lift kit, if you just put like a tiny little lift on your truck, that would be hard to say like, hey, I know that your guys' lift kit was developed for the Tundra, but you guys are pushing over a 3-inch lift kit. I only had a 1-inch lift kit or whatever on my truck, and like I am fully within specs. How does my little kit ruin this on the truck when you guys offer a 3-inch lift kit? It would be a very back and forth kind of a thing, but you know, I feel like you would be able to get that. But you're welcome. Sorry, I read Alex's question. He said, thanks, John. So I said, you're welcome to that. All right. Last couple questions. Do you believe that Toyota will replace the nickel malahydride? I think nickel metal hydride, I think is what that stands for. Hybrid batteries with solid state across their hybrid lineup. I 100% think that they will in the future. It's just the nickel batteries right now are a lot cheaper and cheaper to replace too. It just stinks like for the Tundras though, man. Like you lose so much space like in the trucks, and those, you know, solid state batteries, they're better for performance, longer range out of some of them too. But at the same time, that comes with a cost as well. So the other batteries are relatively more affordable. They're more recyclable and stuff too, but I'm sure in the future, you know, Toyota will go to a better battery. Brandon says, love the content. Look forward to more personal videos. My daughter even enjoyed some of the dog shorts. Heck yeah. Appreciate it, Brandon. Yeah. Love my dogs, man. Definitely got to get them more into videos for certain things, especially if we do like camping videos and stuff in the future. Alex says, what are the chances of getting a 1794 limited if I put down a payment on it now? I don't know. The word really got out there, and there's only 1,500 of them being made. You may be able to find it at a dealership, but like, it's going to be hard. It'll be really, really hard to try to get one of those, honestly. But you can try. I would definitely try to put a payment down at multiple dealerships, because if there's only 1,500 of them, I don't even know if they're how many dealerships are in the United States. Some dealerships may get allocated a couple, and other dealerships may not even get any. So I would go to a high volume dealership, see if they have any down payments on them like at the moment. And then if they don't, put your payment down. But if they do, put yours down, but then find another dealership as well. Because even though if someone's in front of you, when the time comes, they may not pull the trigger on it, and it may go down the list to someone else. What tire do you recommend for a 23 Tundra with a 3-inch lift? Thanks, looking at 35s, 100% 35s. 37s, they're cool, to have them, and you may enjoy them. It may look badass and cool, but 100% 35s. Like I have the 3-inch lift on my Tundra. The 37s look great. It looks like a nice truck, but I'm most likely going down to 35s. Like the 37s was cool, but I just, with an 18-inch wheel, there's so many more options for 35s at less tread, like not a lesser load rating. I just think that 35s are a perfect middle ground to still get okay gas mileage, to not tax the truck too much. Better for city driving and stuff too, road noise, all that stuff. There's a sick 83 Land Cruiser in St. Augustine, Florida. If you need one for a channel, would be sick. Found it while looking at your parts the other day, dude. One day, I really want an old Land Cruiser and also an old first-gen 4Runner to do like some sort of rehab project for a nice beach mobile, to just have the top off, paddle boards on top, whatever, drive down the beach with the dogs, wind all up in us and stuff, just old school like that. But people just want so much money for Land Cruisers. There's some that are cheap, like old Land Cruisers, like the FJ series and stuff, like older FJ series. So I wouldn't want like an 80 series Land Cruiser. It'd be like the older 40 series and stuff. But like it would definitely, like, they have them for like a couple $1,000s, but like they're so rusted out, like they're not even worth it in my opinion at that point. But if I found one like with a blown up engine or something, but the shell was good, it would be a very fun vehicle to like just restore and make into like a fun beach cruiser. And maybe I would put like a modern 4Runner powertrain in it, or like a little diesel or something like that, or like a turbo 4-cylinder, and just have it be like a nice little beach cruiser. I grew up in Jacksonville and Ponte Vedra Beach, and then moved to Arkansas and moving back next year. If you move to Florida, don't come here to change it. Yeah, that is true. If you're leaving an area for a certain reason and coming to an area, definitely, realize why you left certain areas too, when you frequent whatever area it may be for whatever reasons. But yeah, we have gotten an influx of people into Florida. But yeah, I think Jacksonville would be really, really cool. And it is, more affordable for sure. But man, from Jacksonville to Arkansas to back, that is quite a change for sure of scenery. But yeah, so we're out. I think everyone is good. Got all the questions answered and stuff. Robert, thanks for the info. Yeah, you are welcome. You enjoy your holidays as well. Guys, this was the last live stream of 2023. And next live stream should be on 2024, which would be next week is the 2nd. So we will 100% be in 2024. So everyone have a safe New Year. Don't be too crazy. Be responsible. Be awesome. Set whatever goals you have for yourself for next year. Do them now. Don't wait till the 1st. You're already a day behind. And if you can, just start them now, right? Like, don't wait till the 1st to say, I'm going to do this next year. Start them now, whether it's you want to have a better diet, work out more, have these finance goals, whatever it is, start it now. That way you're already a couple days ahead on the first, and you're ahead of a lot more people, and you can get it done a little bit easier instead of starting from day one on the first day of the year. So guys, I appreciate everyone watching. Yep, we've been on for almost 2 hours, which is crazy, but I appreciate everyone dropping in, hanging out. Good advice. Appreciate it, Shorty. You are awesome. Appreciate everyone's support. Everyone that was a fly on the wall that did not ask a question. I appreciate you guys, and I will catch you in the next live stream and also next video. All right, guys. Have a great night.